So, Austin, Texas is huge. And when you're moving here by yourself or with a partner, that can be exciting, right? Because you have all of these different areas to choose from, many of which suit your lifestyle. But when you're moving here with a family, things are a little bit different. Your priorities change and you're thinking all of a sudden about two big things, which are safety and the schools. So in this video, we are going to specifically talk about the safest neighborhoods for families. We've narrowed it down to just about 5 of them with a couple honorable mentions. And so if that's what you clicked on this video to learn about, stay tuned. Hello again, everybody. If this is your first time to the channel, me llamo Francisco, or if you prefer, you can just call me Frank. I'm part of a team at the award-winning J.B. Goodwin Brokerage right here in Austin, Texas. And if you couldn't already tell by our groovy intro, this channel is called Living in Austin, Texas. So cheers to that. We put out tons of new videos every week about what it's like to live in Austin, Texas, whether it's pros and cons, cost of living, comparisons versus cities and states, or even vlog tours of your favorite areas and suburbs. So, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more, ring the little bell so that you're notified each time we upload a new video, and be sure to like the video as well, as it tells us we're doing a good job and it helps us grow. YouTube has been an absolute blast for us thus far, and we love the reach outs we've been getting all the time from people moving and relocating here. So be sure to reach out to us, whether it's by email, text, or a phone call, any day of the week, any time of day, because we've got your back when moving to Austin, Texas. It's what we love to do, it's what we're good at doing, so we do it. Now, just real quick, before we dive into the rest of this video, I wanted to mention that when it comes to safe areas, there are quite a lot. It doesn't mean that it's only this list, and to be quite honest with you, we could have mentioned many more in this list, but we wanted to narrow it down just to about 5 for you guys of the safest places for you and your family to move to when you're coming to Austin, Texas. So technically that makes it a top 5. However, the ordering of which we're placing them in this video is kind of all over the place. I mean, you could rank any one of them at number 1 based off of what is subjective to you, obviously. So don't take it too seriously in terms of the order. And just as a bonus, we're going to throw in a couple honorable mentions towards the very end. And be sure to stick around to the end, because that is my personal favorite, and in my opinion, the safest neighborhood you can possibly find in all of Austin. So without further ado, coming in at number 5, what the hell, let's talk about Westlake, also known as Westlake Hills, also known as the general area of Rollingwood. Now, the reason I said what the hell is because Westlake, if you're from Texas, which I'm sure most of you watching this probably aren't, Westlake is the cream of the crop. It is luxury real estate. You get views of downtown. You're touching Lady Bird Lake and you're touching Lake Austin, so you get views of that too. You're also in one of the best rated school districts in the entire greater Austin area, which is called Eanes Independent School District. And in this neighborhood, you're gonna look at a median home price of about $1.2 million if you're willing to spend a pretty penny. Or if you either want something a little nicer or much nicer, you can spend upwards of $4 million, $5 million, $6 million for this prime exclusive real estate. And many of the homes were originally built in the 70s and 80s, but the reason it's so expensive is because of the views, as I mentioned, and you're in the hills, some of the greatest, most beautiful hills in all of the Austin area. You're also very close to the major freeways and minutes from downtown, so it really is about location, location, location in this case. In addition to all of that, you're close to Barton Springs, you're close to ZILKER Park, which is relatively iconic. I don't like to throw that word around too much because I feel like it's actually lost its meaning these days, but iconic to Austin is very much ZILKER Park. And of course, naturally, you're gonna have an abundance of golf courses in that area because a lot of people who live there, they love to play golf. And so when you factor in the school district, when you factor in the exclusivity and the price point of this neighborhood, naturally, you're going to have a very safe place for you and your family, which is why it earned a spot on this list. And on the subject of ZILKER Park and on the subject of location, we're going to go to number 4, and that's going to be the general ZILKER Park area. Now, the ZILKER Park area includes little areas within it, such as Barton Hills, Bouldin Creek, Travis Heights, ZILKER itself, and South Lamar. And when I say iconic to Austin, I really mean iconic to Austin. ZILKER Park is where you find Blues on the Green. ZILKER Park is where you find Austin City Limits. ZILKER Park is where you find the Trail of Lights. ZILKER Park is where you find Reggae Festival, South by Southwest oftentimes, and endless other gatherings and events all taking place right here in the heart of Austin, Texas. Again, it's a great place for your family, it's a great place for your dogs, it's a great place to fly a kite, and you're gonna find a lot of vibrance there. You're gonna see a lot of younger people, young professionals as well, but also families. And something I really like about this area personally is the walkability, because you really are in downtown. That's really it. You are at the heart of Austin, and so you're basically right by SoCo. Now, SoCo, if you're not from Austin, that translates to South Congress, and it's literally the strip where you can see the Capitol, and along that street, you go over the bridge, you have candy shops, you have bars, you have music venues, pizza parlors. It is the hub, the heart, the heartbeat of all things Austin, Texas. The most authentic you can get. Now, the homes here are going to be smaller and they're going to be historic, some of which are going to be remodeled. Your median in this area is probably going to be around that $700,000 mark, and if you want something newer in the area, it's going to be easily north of $1 million. And so when you think about the size of them or the age of the home, and then you equate that to the dollar amount, you think, wait a second, but as I said, all about the location, the more central to downtown Austin you are. Now, for the families out there watching this, I do want to say I wouldn't describe this area as the safest. I would say it's safe because absolutely, it is well known to be a great area, and you're in Austin Independent School District, which also has great schools. But the reason I wouldn't say it's the safest of this list is because you really are in the heart of downtown Austin, and because of the walkability, because of how close you are to everything and the exposure, yes, I feel safe. Yes, it's not like you're in a dangerous area necessarily, but compared to these other neighborhoods we're going to mention and have mentioned, it's not quite going to have that exclusivity. It's not really tucked away in suburbia. You know, it's in the mess of everything. So it's about as safe as you can get within the metro area, but not as safe as you can get in the greater Austin area. So keep that in mind. Now, if you've ever heard the expression, all right, or be a lot cooler if you did, that's from a movie called Dazed and Confused with Austin's very own Matthew McConaughey, and much of it actually takes place in number 3 of this list, which is Allendale. Allendale is close in proximity to that ZILKER Park area, as I mentioned, in the downtown area itself, but it is a bit further removed, and the cool thing about Allendale is it's well known, I guess, reputation-wise, for being actually one of the safest places to live in all of Austin, Texas. If you were to go on Google right now and type in safest places in Austin, a bunch of them will vary, a bunch of the different rankings will vary, but what you'll see consistently all the time is Allendale, without fail. Now, Allendale offers great schools yet again. I don't know about award-winning. I'd have to double, triple, quadruple, quintuple check on that, but great schools nonetheless, as a lot of the Austin area does offer. And in addition to that, you have tremendous walkability, and what's cool about Allendale is you're kind of enclosed by these big green oak trees, so it feels a little suburban, but the walkability is great because you have tons of food options all around you. You could take the family, go on a little walk, have a nice bite at a top-notch burger right nearby, walk back home. It really is safe, it's central, but is it affordable? Well, not to be anticlimactic, but it really depends. Now, the median rate in Allendale is going to be around $650, and for many in Austin, whoa, that's affordable. For others, it's a little bit steep, right? Depends on what your budget is, what areas you're looking at, and what you desire from where you're going to live. And similar to that ZILKER area, it's going to go above that $1 million price range if you want newer homes, because a lot of the homes in Allendale are actually classic 50s style homes, and that's where you're going to find it in the 600s, maybe a little less, maybe a little bit higher, but if you want something a little bit newer, a little bit more contemporary and current, be ready to stretch the budget. Now, real quick, something I do want to say about both the ZILKER Park area and Allendale is that they are great for tech jobs. And every single day it seems that more and more people and companies are moving to Austin, whether it's the lack of state income tax or because we're becoming the new Silicon Valley, which they've dubbed the Silicon Hills here in Austin. And so if you are relocating here because of a tech job, if that does apply to you, and I bring it up because I think it applies to a lot of people, that is where a bulk of the traffic is coming from, right? For the tech jobs, you want to look into the Allendale areas and the Zilker Park areas as well. Are those the only two good for the tech jobs? No. There's loads of them, but to this video specifically and what we're mentioning, yes, those two I'd say are best suited for that type of lifestyle. And your kids will like it too. Before moving on, be sure to comment down below. Do you disagree with the list? Do you agree with the list? Do you think we've left out anything that should be on there? And also be sure to ask us any questions. We'd love to be of service. We love to help. And last but not least, if any of these areas are areas you'd like to see us do on a vlog tour, let us know. We'll be all over it. Or if any of these areas inspire you to think of other areas that we haven't mentioned and you want to see those too, again, let us know. We'd love to get involved with you guys that way and make it an interactive experience as we grow this channel. Especially because when you're moving somewhere and it's such a big decision for you and your family, you can only read so much about a place, you can only hear someone like me talk so much about a place. Eventually you've just got to see it for yourself. And if you can't just conveniently fly down here to tour areas, well, that's what the vlogs are for. And then you call us. Alright, so coming in at number 2 is going to be the exquisite, the fabulous TERAVISTA. Personally, one of my favorites. Now, TERAVISTA is located, I'd say, in the Round Rock area, just minutes from Georgetown, just minutes from Cedar Park, and just minutes from North Austin. It's pretty centrally located in regards to the northern greater Austin area, not central to Austin itself like other neighborhoods we've already mentioned. And the cool thing about TERAVISTA is it is what Austin calls a master plan community. And the reason I say Austin is because in a city like Houston, which is enormous, right? They have legitimate master plan communities where it's basically its own city, its own town, with just endless homes, stores, all this good stuff. Now, a master plan community in Austin is going to look like golf courses, maybe some shops, and its own elementary, sometimes middle school or high school built in the infrastructure of the neighborhood. And TERAVISTA is a glowing example of this. The centerpiece of it, of course, is going to be the golf course. It's actually also won awards for its development. And within TERAVISTA, you have numerous subdivisions. So for example, you might be driving within the TERAVISTA neighborhood, and then you'll see on your right, you'll turn into Creekside, or on your left, you'll turn into Fairway Heights. Or if you go a little bit forward and you make your next left, you'll turn into Arbor Lake. It has these subdivisions within the neighborhood, and something I personally really like about TERAVISTA, as opposed to the neighborhoods that I've mentioned prior to this one, is you have great variety. Your budget here, your range of home price can go anywhere from the high 3s, low 4s, all the way upwards of $1 million. And that's because TERAVISTA offers homes that are built by numerous builders. I'd say at least 5 builders alone just in the neighborhood. Taylor Morrison, D.R. Horton, Leonard, Meritage, Ryland, Centera, Buffington. I was not about to remember those, but my point is, that's one of the great things about TERAVISTA, and it is absolutely made for families. That is the intention of a neighborhood like TERAVISTA. It is very safe, and even within the neighborhood, you have your own subdivisions that are gated communities themselves. People in that neighborhood take their golf courses and drop their kids off at the local neighborhood elementary school, and then they can go golfing after that. So well deserving of number 2 on this list, and we actually shot one of our vlogs in Round Rock, so we got some shots of TERAVISTA itself, which by now you've probably seen in this video. And if you want to know more about it, go check out our vlog tour of Round Rock, and while you're at it, our vlog tours of Cedar Park, of Georgetown, the Domain, so on and so forth. Now real quick, one more thing I forgot to say about TERAVISTA is it is in the Round Rock Independent School District, and as far as I'm concerned, and I guess many other people, sorry, I was just kissing my dog, I have dog hair all over my face. He just had a bath, and after his baths, he sheds, I'm looking at you, and I was just smooching him up, so pardon me. But it is in the Round Rock Independent School District, and I'd say Round Rock and Leander are two of the two of the best school districts in all of Austin. That includes downtown, that includes the luxury areas, that includes the suburbs. They are award-winning, they are consecutive. I actually went to Leander myself, so a little bit biased, but I mean, you look it up yourself, do your homework on Round Rock and Leander independent school districts. High praise all around, and that's actually what brings families to these areas. They move to Round Rock, Leander, Cedar Park, all for the school district themselves, and I can vouch they are amazing. So, something to keep in mind. Now, before we get to our number one selection for the safest area for you and your family to come to in Austin, well, as promised, I didn't really promise, but as promised, we're going to talk about a couple of honorable mentions that I would be remiss if we did not mention them on this list. Now, because they're honorable mentions, I'm not going to really dive into that much detail, but I just want to bring them up and note some key elements to both of them and just give you a quick little idea. So the first one we're going to mention of the honorable mentions is called Circle C Ranch, around that southwest area down in Austin, Texas. And Circle C Ranch, again, great schools. It is an Austin Independent School District. Very walkable as well, very green in addition. You're about 15 to 20 minutes from the heart of downtown. You've got a few pools in that area as well. I want to say at least 2 or 3, maybe 4. So that tells you its size, that tells you its safety, that tells you its vibe. And your median price in Circle C Ranch is going to be around that $500,000 mark and upwards. Gorgeous homes, very safe area, great for families, so worth the mention on the list. Now, our second of the honorable mentions on this list, which I don't really know why I didn't rank it. I just kind of threw them together and thought, okay, I'll rank these and then I'll put these as honorable mentions. But it's as deserving as anything else on the list, and that would be STEINER Ranch. Now, STEINER Ranch, if you're from Austin, you've heard of STEINER Ranch. There's no way you haven't. If you're not from Austin, well, you might have heard of STEINER Ranch. It is, I guess you could say, a staple of the greater Austin area. It was developed around the 1990s and is also considered to be one of the largest and one of the best master plan communities that Austin has to offer. You've got over 35 different subdivisions alone within STEINER Ranch. It also lies along the Colorado River, so a lot of the houses in that area are going to have waterfront views. In addition, of course, you've also got your golf courses, you have stores, you have shops, various community centers for you and your family to go to, I guess, to hang out. And the cool thing about STEINER Ranch is you can actually find homes there about as cheap as the $550,000 mark, and then obviously upwards. I'd say the median's probably maybe $650,000, $700,000 right around there, and then boom, upward, if you want that waterfront view, if you want size. And of course, very safe, very family friendly. The only thing I'll say against it is I don't love the location. Now, in terms of waterfront views, of course, great location, but one of the main roads you can take to get to STEINER Ranch is called 620, and I would not wish 620 on my worst enemy. It gets backed up. There are so many lights. It's a bit of a headache to get in and out. But aside from that, I mean, STEINER Ranch, like I said, is a staple of Austin, Texas. And if you're coming here with your family, you gotta check it out. All right, so finally, the anticipation, the suspense, the build-up, the drama, my favorite, the fabulous, the marvelous, the exemplary, the radiating, the exquisite, the divine, the wondrous AVERY Ranch. And it's literally number one on this list only because I lived there. Just kidding. I did live there, but it's not why. I was fortunate to live in AVERY Ranch. It was one of the 2 neighborhoods I grew up in. Multiple houses growing up, bumped around a bit, but 2 neighborhoods to be consistent. One was Forest Oaks, which I love, that's in Cedar Park, and one I really grew up in was AVERY Ranch. AVERY Ranch is another master planned community with 4,000 plus homes right in, I'd say, northwest Austin. You're about 5 minutes south of Cedar Park. You're about 20 minutes removed from downtown. If traffic's good, if traffic's rush hour, or if it's stopped up with accidents, you can look at 30, 40 minutes from downtown. About 10 to 15 from Leander, about 15 to 20 from Round Rock, another 20 to 30 from Georgetown. So again, very well located in Austin. And pardon my bias, but I really do love AVERY Ranch. And in my experience, having grown up there, it was very safe, the type of neighborhood where You could just, if you forgot to lock your door at night, oh well, you know, if you forgot to lock your car at night, all right, it'll be fine. Now, Avery Ranch has so much to offer. You've got a Walgreens, you've got a CVS, you've got a liquor store, you've got barbecue, you've got what used to be a smoothie shop and I think is now a coffee shop. You have a tanning salon, you have a gym, which I think is Orange Theory. You have a repair shop for watches. You have a McDonald's, you have a couple banks, you have a couple restaurants. You have an elementary school. 2, actually, maybe 3 if you want to count. No, I think 2. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 different pools. You have tennis courts, you have basketball courts, you have numerous playgrounds for the kids. Don't even get me started on the wide sidewalks that you can just go for your strolls on a nice summer evening here in Austin. The streets in Avery Ranch have bike lanes for people who are cyclists. And yes, you have a gigantic golf course, which, by the way, years back, there was a celebrity golf tournament in Avery Ranch in Austin, of all places. And at the time, I was really into the actor named Dennis Quaid. And I had other childhood idols that made much more sense, whereas Dennis Quaid was more of a random one. But I was really into time travel as a kid, and one of his films is called Frequency, which is, I think, 1999 with Jim Caviezel. And Dennis Quaid's character in the movie is actually, his character's name is Francis, and his character who was Francis went by Frank. And my name is Francis, and I saw him in that movie go by Frank, and I thought, I'm gonna go by Frank. And now I go by Frank. To this day, Dennis Quaid is why. Anyways, this was around, I wanna say 2006, and they were doing this charity event at the golf course, and they had Disney celebrities, other actors, musicians, but I heard Dennis Quaid was gonna make an appearance. And I remember it was a hot, typical summer Texas day. I'd say maybe 105 degrees, and my dad and I were walking, and I was losing hope I wasn't gonna find him because I was literally just going hole to hole. Is that him? Is that him? Finally, I see Dennis. Big smile, shook my hand. I was very scared, but he was very humble, very genuine. I was wearing a tie-dye shirt. This was before the era of selfies, so he signed my tie-dye shirt in marker, and told him I was a big fan, and I remember that to this day. And so yeah, another reason to like Avery Ranch. It also has trails that lead to the nearest Brushy Creek Park. You have trails that last 15 miles if you want to walk or bike. And the Brushy Creek Park has beautiful water. You can go fishing there, you can have picnics there. There's a skate park, there's baseball fields, there's playscapes for the kids, basketball courts as well. Very green, lots of trees. And even though you are about 20 minutes from downtown, as I said, you can actually walk from Avery Ranch to the nearest Metro Rail, which is one of Austin's versions of mass transit. In my opinion, if you're coming from a place like San Francisco, for example, not gonna compare. You will be let down by Austin's public transportation, just warning you. It's decent, but it's nothing like, you know, a big city's mass transit. So anyways, there is the Metro Rail though, which is relatively new, and it goes all the way up to Avery Ranch. You can get on the Metro, pay maybe a couple bucks, I'm not sure exactly how much it is, and just ride downtown. It'll take you all the way down to the heart of Austin, Texas. So that's a benefit as well. And then the community in Avery Ranch, they do events all the time. They have movie nights at the pools, they have Easter egg hunts, and I mentioned the schools, that they have a couple schools. And what's really cool about Avery Ranch is they have, one of the schools is zoned for the Round Rock Independent School District, and one of the schools is zoned in the Leander Independent School District. So you got the two best school districts in all of the greater Austin area zoned within one neighborhood, which I think is pretty cool, and you'll think is really cool if you're bringing your kids there. And personally, something I think that's really neat about Avery Ranch is, again, like TERAVISTA, you have a wide array of budget options. The neighborhood of Avery Ranch is split into two sides, divided by one main road called Parmer. Parmer can take you very south, very north, one of those main arteries in Austin, and up north enough, you find one side of Avery Ranch and the other. And on one side of Avery Ranch, you have what I would call the rich side. Not necessarily rich, but it's more expensive on that side. You'll find homes there that might start maybe in the 400s or 500s, but you'll really see more commonly on that side of Avery Ranch easily $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 homes, gorgeous homes. And then on the other side of Avery Ranch, I won't call it the poor side, but I'd call it the more average side, where it's more easily accessible. You have more first-time home buyers on that side, still very safe. The school is on that side actually. And there you can find homes as low as maybe $320,000, $350,000 and up, which is actually how I was fortunate to get into Avery Ranch. Not that it's like some exclusive place where you have to put your name on a list, but I grew up lower middle class, and you really wouldn't dream of living in a master plan community like Avery Ranch, right? But at the time, this was quite a while back, because I'm older now, but I do remember back then, you know, it was probably in the low 2s, maybe the high 1s, dare I say. Different time. It was really before Austin popped the way it has today. So yes, I was fortunate to grow up in Avery Ranch. And what's cool also about Avery Ranch is you have homes about as old as 2002, 2003, and you have homes that are still brand new. I mean, there's still construction in Avery Ranch. There's still gorgeous homes that were completed months ago, maybe a year ago. So it is still growing, if you can believe it, after all these years. And yes, I was very fortunate to live in that neighborhood, to make memories in that neighborhood. And yeah, you really only see families in that neighborhood. As far as my memory goes, you know, you're out at night going for a walk, or you're driving through, and you just see people walking their dogs, you see kids on scooters, skateboards, very just community oriented, very close-knit. I think there's a Facebook group for it now. And again, very safe, a wide array of budget options, and of course, very deserving of #1 on this list. And so whether you or your family would like to live in the heart of downtown, whether you or your family would like to live a little bit removed from downtown, anything in between, what we love to do and what we're good at doing is putting you and your family in the right place, making your move here and the transition seamless, whether it's the right commute to your work, the right school zones, the right tax rate, the right golf courses, and we love getting those offers accepted. We really pride ourselves in that, especially in today's market with how hot it is, with how low inventory is. There's nothing as satisfying as getting an offer accepted in today's market. So again, it is what we love to do, it's what we're good at, which is why we do it, but the only way we can make your life easier when moving here is by you reaching out to us. So give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, days, nights, weekends, any time of day. We've got your back when moving to Austin, Texas. We absolutely love getting those reach outs from you guys. And like I said before, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more, ring the little bell. We put out tons of new content every week, a wide array of subjects. Be sure to like the video as well, as it really helps us grow and tells us we did a good job. Comment down below, as I said before. Give us those video ideas so that we can know what to shoot for you guys. Stay tuned for the next one, and until then, you guys, we'll catch you later. Crisp apple cider.